New York, around the nation. An All-American and Jim Gunnell from Bville. He's really one to watch tonight.
Well, they've all got some real hot shooters, and I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. One of the things we can look for, though, Bville did introduce his own defense and shut down FM in the semifinals. And whether or not West Jenny will attack and is able to attack that zone is something we're going to have to find out. But also, West Jenny's not stranger to zone defenses. They may just zone up D on their own to see whether or not the patient Bville defense can attack their zone. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
We can't wait for it. A few moments down the line, we'll have the face-off. First, though, we're going to talk with Mike Massera of West Genesee. That's next, right after these words. Welcome back to Liverpool High School, everybody. Set for tonight's game between West Genesee and Bville, and we're joined by Wildcat head coach Mike Massera. And, Coach, you've been here so many times before. What's the attitude, coaching staff, and the players coming into this big game?
Well, it's been kind of a rough season for us. We had a lot of close games coming through, and I think we kind of want to just reestablish ourselves here in this game.
As we talked about last night, you and I, you had two meetings with these same Bville Bees and two kind of different games. Based on those two meetings, what do you expect tonight?
Well, you don't know. They've improved quite a bit, and I think we've come along pretty well. To beat them, we're going to have to play a real smart game. Good athletes on both sides.
Now, it is raining, it is windy a bit, but as you're mentioning, the field really isn't in that bad a shape, except for a couple places in the midfield in front of the goal where the sod's kind of been lifted up.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. All the fields, they split the games the last round thinking that the field would be muddy, but their fields really held the rain real well.
You've got a lot of seniors on your team. What would it mean for them to come with a victory tonight?
Well, it kind of erases everything that happened behind them. Kind of makes up for a lot of ills.
Let's get right to your key players now. At midfield, the face-off man, Brian Duffy, number 13.
Yeah, Brian's been with us for 3 years, been in 2 state championships, so he's been through the whole routine. He's kind of a stabilizing influence for us, and it's important for him to come up with the ground balls. That's going to be key as possession of the ball in the game. Now, the longer you have possession, the more chance you have to score. And same with them, they can score also. So it's going to be important to have the ball.
One of the best goaltenders in our region now, Dan Genesee.
Yeah, Dan's done a nice job for us this year and hauled in there. And again, he has to make some saves. They've got some very good offensive people. He's going to get some tough shots on him. He's going to have to come up with some big saves and make the ones he should make and make a few extras to give us, once again, to give us possession of the ball.
Coach, we appreciate your time as usual. Thanks very much, and go get him out there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Head Coach Mike Massera, West Genesee. In a moment, Joe returns with Pete Fiorini of Bville. We return to Liverpool right after this. Stay right here.
Pete Fiorini, the Bees, and Coach coming in top seed. You got to be feeling good a little bit about your position.
Yeah, the kids have played well over the last 6-7 ball games, and we're excited. We've been playing good lacrosse. It's great to be here.
You introduced a zone defense that shut down FM. You got to feel good about a big win. They only scored their second goal with 6 seconds left.
Yeah, our kids have been getting out to the ball in that set, and we hope that we do that tonight. We also know that West Genesee will be prepared for it. They were scouting at FM, and so we may have to change some things, but we hope that the kids are anticipating getting out to the ball.
They'll probably attack the zones differently than FM did, but also they might introduce a zone of their own.
I've thought about that. We didn't spend a whole lot of time working in preparation for that because to teach a zone in a couple of days is tough to do, just like it would be tough for us to really penetrate a zone offense. But we worked on a couple things.
Your defense, let's talk about one of the key players, Bill McCaig, number 32.
Billy's been our most consistent defenseman, along with Matt Coleman, throughout the year. He's just all heart and a great kid, and he just keeps working hard.
Do they make it life easier a little bit for Brant McCage, or is he doing a little on his own too?
Well, Davis got some good people in front of him, and he's been playing well of late too.
In the zone defense, McCaig and the others adapted well to that, and they feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's been half a season now. And we feel comfortable in a man-to-man, too. We feel we can go either way.
How about Mike McCarthy, number 7? He's like a 6th man in basketball.
Michael's been again, going in for us in different situations all year. The man-up situation, just he's a great hard worker. He's got an excellent shot, and he's scrappy around the cage. He digs them out and sticks them in now and then, and he'll see a lot of time tonight.
What do you think it'll take for Bville to come away number 1?
Well, I think like in any game we played this year, you can't be worried about anything until you're ground balling with or better than the team, and you have to move it in the air and play great defense. We'll see.
Coach, all the best. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joe.
Good luck. And when we come back, the opening face-off, exciting lacrosse action. One of these teams, the season ends tonight. We'll find out which one after this.
A very soaked, wet, windy Liverpool High School, where tonight the championship game between the #2 seed West Genesee and the #1 seed Bville just about set to get underway. You can see the starting lineups being introduced. Officials for tonight's game from left to right: Steve Miller, Jim O'Hara, and Kurt Lingenfelter. Time to take a look now at the starting lineups. First for the West Genesee Wildcats. At attack, Brown, Dwyer, and Manning, the midfielders. Brian Duffy, one of the key players for Coach Mike Messer. Mike Stevens and Conway, defensemen. Foster, Evanchek, and Smiley, and the goalie is Dan Giannuzzi, #10, who is a key player for head coach Mike Messer. On the other side, the Bville Bees, you can see them being introduced. And there they go, the Brostics, Dan and Dave. Tim Houck also at attack, #33. He's one to watch. Matt Brigandi, #4 in the midfield. Jim Ganella, who head coach Pete Fiorini calls one of the best he's ever coached. Dan Presley, #21, who can score a lot. They've got a lot of firepower. Defenseman Pickard, McKeague, one of the key players. Coleman, and the goalie is David Brandt, #2. The Baldwinsville Bees under head coach Pete Fiorini in his 13th year. And both teams coming into this game playing very well toward the latter half of the season. Although, Joe, about a week ago, West Genesee was upset by CNS.
A big surprise to a lot of people, including perhaps CNS. But CNS must have played on their perfect game. And I'm not sure, not having seen the game, what happened to West Genesee, because they had just come off a couple big wins to get themselves back in contention. Quite a surprise, but nevertheless, they did go into sectional play with a loss, but it didn't seem to matter too much. They had a nice win against Liverpool, and here they are. No strangers to playoff action.
You can see on the field level shot there that conditions are wet, a little bit muddy, and a little bit slick. And as Joe and I mentioned in the pregame show, we'll see what kind of effects those will have. Should be interesting as that develops. Joe Klein will face off with Brian Duffy at midfield, and we are underway. Procedure violation right off the bat, Joe.
Right off the bat, it's procedure against Bville. Now watch this. When Bville played FM, one of the things they did was, Bville, was sprint right to the cage when they had a settled situation. Let's see if West Genesee does the same thing.
Duffy starts things off. He'll go to Stevens on the wing, and we are underway. First quarter. Sectional championship from Liverpool High School. McKeague able to get across on it. David Brandt goes back to McKeague as the Wildcats and Manning mishandling right in front of the crease. And now Bville on a clear attempt. He goes to Brostick, will bring it to the offensive zone. Works on Bob Foster. Dan and Dave Brostick, they are twins, but not identical twins. And here's Ganella, a player we were talking about, who's got great speed, tremendous stick handler, good shooter. He'll get as many assists, Joe, as he will scoring goals.
As we mentioned in the pregame also, there's a lot of balanced scoring. Both these teams have a lot of folks that can put points on the board, either scoring or assisting.
Dave Brostick to the right of Giannuzzi, looking to drive in. First shot, bouncer. Didn't get all he could on that one. And Giannuzzi able to get his stick out and deflect it wide. Tim Houck recovers in the far sideline. Take another look at that shot.
Well, they did a little ISO. They settled everybody on the left side of the field and on the far side. And then you're looking, and he just makes a little roll move, feels the presence of the defender. Does a little roll move. Not too sure where the cage was. Shot across his body, and it went wide.
Matt Brigandi. Top of the box. He's got Presley on the right wing. Ganella cuts through the zone. Man-to-man defense for West Genesee. Shot put on that a little bit wide. First one of the game by Matt Brigandi. Bville there to back it up. Set up their offense again.
Well, they're not afraid to shoot. Right off the bat, we see a couple of attempts there. Here's a nice look. Defense pressures them again. Nice shot. Nice save by Giannella. Or Giannuzzi, excuse me. I just took two names and transposed them.
Presley with it now. Looks to make a roll dodge move, and he's hit high. Good defense by West Genesee. Wildcats look to recover. Mike Smiley, Dennis Herron, and Bob Foster working on long sticks. Wildcats will bring out some of their midfielders on the attempted clear, but it looks like they lose possession.
In fact, Smiley made a rotation. He started to step upfield. The ball went out of his stick, and right on the far side, Kurt Lingenfelder spots him with a sideline violation, and it's going the ball back to Baldwinsville.
Dan Brostick puts it in play. He's watched by Dennis Herron with a long stick, number 29. Brostick in front. Poke check. Nice play by Herron. Foster able to gather it up for West Genesee. Nearly loses the footing. And the Wildcats now attempt to clear out of their defensive zone.
Bville almost got called for a ward there. You might have heard the West Genesee bench screaming, "Ward, Ward." Officials didn't see it that way and turned the ball over anyway. Aggressive ride by Bville. They got everybody picked up, forcing the long pass. Back over to Smiley it goes.
We're almost 2.5 minutes into the first quarter. The Liverpool High School. West Genesee bringing into the offensive zone. Wildcats will try to gather the ground ball and get something going, but now a violation is going to be called.
Loose ball push.
Loose ball push, correct.
On Baldwinsville.
Against the Bees. Bville now bring out some more long stick defensemen. Coleman, McKeague, and Pickard are the starters. Tim Welch out there, number 35, with a long stick as well. Look to thwart off this attack from West Genesee. No score in the first period. Trent Brown behind the goal. West Genesee in the offensive end looking to get the game's first tally. Duffy fires. That one broken up, never got to the goal, and Bville try to gather up the loose ball. Instead, Trent Brown has got it. You can see on the field level shot.
Duffy's a left-hander, so he'll cut across the crease. But both these teams can shoot either hand.
Manning tries to run it down near the end line. Watched by McKeague. His pass for Brown a little bit high, and it skips out of bounds, and Bville takes over.
Okay, there you see a couple of miscues on the part of West Genesee. They really haven't gotten any shots of significance, and they're going to have to really get their heads in the game. I don't think they're feeling anybody out. They may be nervous. I'm not so sure. This is a well-disciplined team. But for the moment, most of the offensive power and punch seems to be coming from Bville.
Jim Ganella puts it into play on the far side. Fires a pass that's nearly intercepted by West Genesee. Looking for Tom Pickard on the near side, and that one out of bounds. A good pressure by the Wildcats. Now West Genesee has got the ball in the offensive.
Official Jim O'Hara was right at our field microphone when he blew that whistle, so if you're just been moved out of your chair at home, don't worry about it.
Smiley on the far side with his long stick. Works to Genesee.
Bville's ride is a little bit more aggressive than West Genesee's ride, and that's the choice the coaches have made.
Dennis Herron loses possession for a moment. Watched by Welch there.
And it works. If you like hockey, ladies and gentlemen, it's called forechecking, and this is exactly the philosophy that Bville's employed.
Good ride defense pass for Dylan Pensabine. Able to skip under his cross. Now 6:05 to go in the first period. No score between West Genesee and Baldwinsville. Here from Liverpool on a wet night. The rain falling has been for the last couple of hours after break about mid-afternoon, but as Coach Messer said, the field conditions are pretty good considering the amount of rain we've had today. Here's Presley, top of the box. Little roll dodge and a spin move and a nice one. Bounce shot, but it goes wide. Good backup by Bville, and the Bees again have it in the offensive zone.
Nice move by Presley to keep his feet because the defender had slipped and fallen. You're going to watch as he comes down here. He'll make a move, defender overplays, and then Presley still on his feet and makes a bounce shot.
Burgundy on the left wing with it. And Joey spoke with head coach Kerry Quilty of Liverpool, who obviously knows the field better than anyone, and he said if anyone has the advantage, it's going to be the offense. And we saw just there Alexander of West Genesee slip on the roll dodge move by Presley.
Oh, exactly. The offense knows where they're going to go. The middies are breaking in, breaking out. The attack knows where the cuts are going to be and when the timing is going to be. Defense, by definition, has to react. They might be a step late. But as I said at the beginning, if they play position defense and don't lunge, they should be okay.
Presley fires to Burgundy. Bville very patient in the offensive zone here. We are now down to the 5-minute mark of the first quarter. Still no score. Dan Presley is...
He pushed off. He pushed off with his free hand.
That's going to be a violation against Bville, and a good turnover for West Genesee. Matt Alexander, 44, excellent defense.
Okay, when we say Ward or pushing off, his free hand has got to be stationary. And just before that sequence, the beginning of it, you saw him take his left hand, the one without the stick, and just lift up. He's got to keep it stationary. He can hold it out, but he can't extend it. It's called a Ward, and it's a technical that turns the ball over.
Dennis Herron right in front of his own bench. Fires a pass for Smiley, who mishandles and loses his stick.
Nice check.
Good play by Dave Brostick, number 1. And he has got it now into the offensive zone with a head of steam. He'll fire a long shot, but Genesee cuts down the angle as he comes way out of his crease and fields the bouncer cleanly. Good defense by the goaltender.
Not sure why he took a shot from that far out, though, David.
Trent Brown on the right wing. Eases his way into the offensive zone. That's Bill Dwyer with it. Fires to Stevens. He'll back it up near midfield and reset the offense for the Wildcats. Heading now down to the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. Still no count between these two rivals in Division I. Dwyer even with a post. Good roll dodge move. His shot beat Brandt, but it went under his stick and wide of the goal.
That's probably the best opportunity shot-wise we've had in the game thus far. He's going to get his defender to overplay out, makes an inside roll move. He's all alone right there with the goaltender, and Brandt cuts out the angle, so he shoots it wide.
Coach Pete Fiorini is not protected from the elements this evening.
I think he doesn't.
He's roughing it.
He doesn't know what it's doing right now except what's on the field.
West Genesee now in the offensive zone. Wildcats on the attack. .335 and counting. There's a bounce shot, steered a little bit wide. Rebound in front. Dwyer got across on it, but Dave Brandt up to the task again. And now procedure violation is going to be called against the Bville Bees as they try to clear it out.
Yeah, they got Brandt going in and out of the goal with possession, and when he does that, he's going to have to lose possessions. Nice job by Brandt to shut him down, because I'll tell you right there, when Dwyer was right in the middle of the crease, you got to clear that crease area. Defenders didn't do it, didn't get a stick on Dwyer, but they did disturb him enough that he wasn't able to get a good shot on the goal.
Stevens top of the box. He's got a good head of steam. Fires behind the cage to Bill Dwyer.
That may turn out to be a big miscue, that procedure penalty, because Bville had shut him down and was ready to move the ball upfield. Gives the Wildcats another chance.
There's Rob Manning. He's very explosive, outstanding player, but that pass to Stevens high, and he tries to climb the ladder and make the play, but cannot. Over his cross, out of bounds, and turnover gives the ball back to the Bees.
And Mike Masser holds his hands up saying, why, guys, why?
Despite all the experience from this senior-dominated roster for the Wildcats, Joe, when you get to the big games, butterflies are moving inside, and until you get going, a little bit loose, it's tough.
Oh, it sure is. And, you know, they both have a lot of respect for each other. The teams have split during the regular season, and Coach Masser has said before, you know, there's a Donahue influence on this Baldwinsville team. He says it's like coaching into a mirror. I see a lot of my own style of play and coaching skills coming back to me.
Well, Joe, look at Coleman with a long stick bringing it to the offensive zone. He nearly gets a shot off, but instead West Genesee able to pick it up. Genesee taking the gamble out of his crease, and he shovels it off to his defenseman, Dennis Herron. They're trying to find Dwyer right in front of head coach Mike Masser and the West Genny bench, and apparently Dwyer's stick broken. Looks like the pocket's got some problems.
Yeah, he's got a little correction to do there. Giannuzzi's stick is a deep pocket, as old goalie sticks are. There's no restriction on the depth of the pocket. It's hard to do a stick check and get the ball out of a goalie stick. You might want to do some other things like check bottom hand, shut him off so he can't pass, things like that. But stick check doesn't normally work.
Brett Strait comes into the game, replacing Dwyer for the moment till we get the equipment check, and we've got a timeout. First one called by the Bville Bees with 2 minutes 14 seconds to go in quarter number one, the sectional championship from Liverpool on a cool, wet, and windy Friday night in Liverpool. No score.
Must be a weekend. Cold, wet, and windy.
So, Joe, what do you think is going on in the huddles now between the two staffs, West Genesee and Bville?
Well, as far as Bville is concerned, the last couple times they went down there, first of all, we had a shot by one of the brass sticks that was from like 20 yards out. And I don't think it challenged Giannuzzi all that much. The second time they came down there, they just lost the ball again. And if not for the fact that West Genny had a miscue, they would have cleared it the other way. Pete Fiorini has got a settled offensive situation. He wants to make the most of it with 2 and change left. He wants to get a set offense and make sure they run the play. Get the ball behind, perhaps, and then have attack feed the middies.
I'd like to remind you again, tonight's broadcast is brought to you exclusively by Brine, official sponsor, the power behind the game. Brine. 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the opening quarter of tonight's sectional championship from Liverpool. Again, we have no count. Two teams breaking after the timeout called by head coach Pete Fiorini of the Bville Bees. So far, some good shots, Joe, for both sides, but for the most part, defensive-oriented game.
So far, they're sort of feeling each other out. I was surprised because I thought one of them would take initiative and go crash the cage and just try to pummel and shoot as much as they could. But they're a little bit more cautious, but the field may dictate some of that too. The footing isn't all the best.
Ganella with it on the far side now, Joe, as play resumes. He is quick. Look at the spin move. Loses his defenseman, should sit, and that one is steered aside by Genesee, who came up big. Again, that ground in front of both goals, and at midfield, the sod is a little bit torn up from all the use during the year, and the rain has not helped. But a good save by Genesee on the other end. Straight with it. He's pushed out. Nice play defensively made by the Bville Bees and Tom Pickard, number 24.
Big job by Pickard to turn straight away because he was in an unsettled situation. The defense went right to the hole, shut him off, turned him away.
Conway and Stevens come onto the field, and there's Stevens now with it. Next to number 6, Dan Conway, out of the midi switch. Behind the cage he goes to Trent Brown. Rob Manning. We'll hear a lot from him tonight. He's a very explosive scorer. Brian Duffy, face-off specialist, midfielder, one of the key players for Coach Mike Messer. Conway with it. 1 minute, 4 seconds. Going to have the field clock coming out in a moment. Count the official down. We are now under 1 minute left in period number 1. Still no score. Jenny on the offensive. Good play made, though, and an outstanding play by Tom Pickard with a long stick, number 24, as he shovels it off to Dave Brand and then gets it to Jim Ganella.
I don't see a field clock next to the bench side official. You really need one.
Ganella's shot stripped from behind by Stevens. Good defensive play, but he's got a back shot on net, and that one is wide after a deflection from Dan Giannuzzi, who hustles on the end line and makes a great play.
Flash.
And now we're going to have a penalty first of the game called, slash the slow whistle, flag drop. This one will go against Bville, and what a play by Dan Giannuzzi, Joe, who not only steered aside a shot from Jim Ganella, which was a nice one, but he hustled to get the ball on the end line and pick up the foul.
He picked up the foul from a slash from Tim Houck, and as he came to the near side of the field, Houck did a one-handed swing and made contact a little high. Official right there. Man-up situation, and with 19 seconds left, they don't have to shoot. They can hold the ball and avoid a face-off and take possession of it for 41 seconds going into the next period.
Heading down to the 15-second mark, Joe, of period number 1. Man up now for the Wildcats. Brown works to Duffy. There's Rob Manning. Down to 5 seconds. See if West Jenny can get a shot off. Manning with it. They're going to hold. You're right. And the clock expires. 1 quarter in the books from Liverpool High School. Under the umbrellas, we have no score. Back with the second quarter right after this.
Lacrosse, the power behind the game.
Here we are back at Liverpool High School. No score after 1 quarter of play. West Genesee and Ballinsville, sectional championship on the line. And Joe, so far, how much of a factor do you think the weather has been?
Well, I don't know if it's influenced too many things except a little sogginess around the crease. But for the most part, they're playing, I think, very cautiously. And with a man down situation as Tim Houck sits in the penalty area, we'll see whether West Genesee can invoke something in the scoring column.
West Jenny in the blue and yellow now, moving from right to left, Joe, and here in period number 2. Still on that man up. Picked it up on Tim Houck with 19 seconds left in the first quarter.
And as they have possession when the penalty ends, there is no face-off, as we mentioned.
Manning with it. Goes to Dwyer. Trent Brown now behind the cage. They pass it, top of the box. Still working it. Stevens to Dwyer. Very patient West Genesee offense tonight. Good feed in the crease. A shot and a score by Duffy. The first goal of the game. 9:28 to go. The man-up situation works well for West Genesee.
Duffy was right in the crease area. He made a nice cut in there. They waited till they found a seam. You're going to see him go from the camera right rather to left. There's a feed, a perfect feed. He makes a step or two, gets a defender to commit, and he makes a shot, beats Brandt. And we're West Jenny 1 up. digging it out of the muck.
Bville now on the offensive after the goal score, trying to get some momentum back. That's Brostic, who ends up on his knees.
Play on push. The ball was loose. West Jenny pushed it. It should go Bville. Yep, he changed his mind. It is going Bville. Brostic was going for that ball and see him go. Just prior to that, he was given a little help. It's a loose ball push. It's going to stay white. You know, one of the things we were talking about was zone defense. What a difference that makes. When you're man down, you're playing a zone defense. All the offense has got to do is find a seam. That's what they did.
Brostic's work it behind the cage. Dennis Herron, excellent poke check as Dan Brostic lost his footing to the right of the cage. We're now 1 minute into the second quarter. Duffy, who scored the goal moments ago, brings down to the offensive zone. Working on Presley. Rob Manning on the right wing. Hounded out there by Bill McKee. West Jenny in the offensive. Good hit, though. Presley trying to pick up that ground ball, as is Duffy. A lot of contact. Kicking the ball was Jason Burton, defensive midfielder, number 41.
And to our left, Jim O'Hara called the play on push on the blue. And it's going to be Baldwinsville ball.
1-0. Bees are down. They'll have the ball and bring into the offensive zone. Presley crosses the midfield line and will step just to the top of the box. West Jenny still in the man-to-man defense. Dan Presley. Good moves and speed. He gets a shot off, but Giannuzzi up to the task. The rebound put in by McCarthy. This game is tied up at 1 with 8:14 to go in the second quarter.
What a job by McCarthy to be in the right place at the right time. Pete Fiorini keyed on him as one of his players that's going to make a difference. He doesn't start, but he's right in the right place at the right time. Take a look at it. First of all, you're going to see the shot. He's going to come around here, beats the defender, goes a nice low shot, and Giannuzzi makes a nice save. But he doesn't keep it in his cross. It flips out there and right in the right place for the rebound, and flick it right in is McCarthy.
Pete Fiorini talked to you before the game how important a player Mike McCarthy is. Kind of like your sixth player in basketball. Physical play, pushing going on. Stevens bowls over Ganella, and that'll be a push as well and a violation against West Genesee.
There's assistant coach Donahue signaling something on the front there with the red windbreaker on.
Jim Ganella. New game after the goal by Mike McCarthy. Burgandy on the left wing. He's going to try to get a shot off. Didn't get a lot on that again. Giannuzzi, not the closest to it, though. He tried to race Brostic toward the end line, but instead, Dan Brostic wins the race. Tim Houck back out there. Brostic will come off.
That particular race is not the closest to the end line when the ball goes out, but closest to the spot where the ball went out on the end line.
Houck triggers play. Presley mishandles for a moment. Alexander was right on top of him. Ganella cannot handle that pass.
Miscommunication.
But he'll have some real estate in between himself and the players eligible to touch over the midfield line. Jim Ganella protects the ball with a left-handed cradle, lost for a moment. Fires inside for Presley. Try to get a shot off. He's in a lot of traffic. He'll back it up. Burgandy hit just as he gets it into his cross. Have one defender down. There's a shot put on net and another goal for the Baldwinsville Bees. 2-1 game with 7:17 to go, and Jim Ganella gets it.
They were moving the ball around up top, and Ganella got it and says, hey, nobody's on me. I'm going to take a look. First of all, the ball around there coming on this side, and then you see Ganella just going to crank, and he's quite a ways out, but it's positioning of the shot right before Giannuzzi's feet, and it bops right in.
That bounced well in front of the goaltender, Giannuzzi. Not your standard bounce shot. Quite a few feet in front of the crease.
But the surface level is a little unsettled right around there, too.
Loose ball. Smiley goes after it in addition to Stevens, who is absolutely hammered in front of the Bville bench by Ganella, who just scored that goal. Man, did he cream Mike Stevens. Joe Klein out there. He does not like the call from the official. Pete Fiorini has got some words for the refs.
Yeah, well, we're going to have an illegal body check called in a minute there. First of all, right here, right by the bench, Pete Fiorini's getting the explanation of it. They're calling, Kurt Lingenfelder is calling an illegal body check.
That was some kind of hit. Laid on by Jim Ganella. Mike Stevens. 2-1 game. West Jenny now on the attack.
Good opportunity for the the Wildcats, because I tell you, I felt a lot of momentum on the Bees. They felt real confident getting 2 quick goals. They're ready to challenge again.
Duffy top of the box. Trent Brown and Dwyer working behind the cage. Mike Stevens out there along with Rob Manning. He's a good one on attack.
That's the crease.
Brett Strait on this attack line, number 16, who's handling. Dwyer right behind the cage, looks to fire in front. There's a shot put on by Duffy, looking for his second goal of the game, but he was hit just as he released.
This man-up situation is such that the attack rotate around. As you're looking there, this attackman goes left, the one in the crease rolls around to the right. He's mirroring him, and so there's always an opening. And right then they feed Duffy, who's making a cut from up top. The attack are keeping the defense spread while the middies are breaking in and breaking out. As Duffy broke in, they fed him.
Trent Brown with it to the right of Dave Brent. Here's Manning, 22. Shot put on net, goal for Mike Stevens. This game is tied up at 2-2 with 5:56 to go.
Might have been screened, I'm not sure, but that was quite a distance on that shot too, just like the one that Ganella got. But he's out there pretty far, and he puts a bounce shot on him. It's going to be coming right to left, and then he'll just come up and crank. Now, whether the white shirt screened the goaltender or not, I don't know. But bingo. On the low side, he just thread the needle. Timeout, Baldwinsville. Peterini wants to settle him down a little bit. They had momentum going, and then they had that illegal body check, put him a man down, and in that case, as in both cases, West Jenny scored. And if you're not man down, maybe you won't give up any goals, is what he's going to be saying.
Give the assist, Joe, in that last goal by Stevens to Rob Manning. So after a scoreless first quarter, quite a bit of action here in the first few moments, not even 5 minutes into the second.
Well, it's got to be penalty-free for Baldwinsville. I can sense that, because the man up. Look at the size of the crowd here, given this less than pleasant weather. Multicolored umbrellas and rain ponchos and such. A nice turnout under the circumstances. But these are two well-respected programs with a great following from both schools.
The rain has been steady, but not particularly hard. We're not getting a lot of wind either at this point in the night.
No, it was windy and rainy when you and I were outside there a while
Just
ago.
for that moment, right?
Yes.
All right, after the timeout, 2-2 game. Under 6 minutes again to go in the first half of play. Duffy able to win the faceoff. He feeds ahead. Going for it, Conway, and he's bowled over, but West Jenny able to control the ball in the offensive zone. Trent Brown on the left wing has got it. He's out there with Dwyer and with Duffy. Shot on net, there's a goal, and again it's Mike Stevens doing it. Number 33, Stevens scores 2 quick ones, and West Genesee has got a 3-2 lead.
Success there came by the timing. The ball was behind. They fed cutting Stevens, and he just got it and quick sticked it right in. First of all, you're going to see the pass. There's the feed. Stevens is already cutting. 1-2 steps being shot. Timing on that, because the attack behind saw Stevens making his cut. Stevens held his stick up, gave him a target like you're supposed to, and he just bingos. Got it right in there.
Deadly duo, Joe, for West Genesee. That's another assist for Rob Manning. Last 2 goals scored by Stevens, 33. Assists from number 22, Rob Manning, on the pair. And now it's a 3-2 lead for West Jenny. Very tight game. You can tell this is going to be a great one. Rostick with it now in the offensive zone for the Bees. He puts a shot on that. I don't know if Giannuzzi saw that to the last second. Just got his cross up in time. And now it's just outside the crease. Could have a crease violation or a stoppage in play. That'll be a crease violation against the Bville Bees.
Yes, on the far side, Jim O'Hara said we got Hoyt in the crease. So we had a crowd in the crease, actually. There wasn't room for too many people. All that activity down by the crease, you got to know what Giannuzzi's doing. He's got to keep his eye on the ball. He makes a nice save there. Tries to rake it back in. See, the ball's outside the cylinder right now. It can be checked. It can be picked up by the white. That's when the blue shirts just converge on it and try to clear the crease out.
Aaron and Foster work with it with the long sticks. His pass from Manning, way too hard. Out of bounds it goes in the near side.
Okay, again, miscommunication. The man for whom the pass was intended cut one way and the pass went the other. And when you come up with a ball like that in a clear situation, you got to communicate at this time of the year especially.
4:47 counting, Joe, to go in half number one. 3-2 game, West Jenny on top. Bees on the clear now out of their zone. Coleman, McKee, Tom Picker to work on long stick. Canella just into the game. Very athletic play as he able to catch that one on the run.
Oh, that was a tough one. It looked, maybe some people say that's not too easy or not too tough, but I'll tell you it is. Ball behind him like that.
Matt Bergani, top of the box. Looking to get inside. Heading down to the 4-minute mark. Canella with it. He has one goal. Bergandi gets a shot on net, and that one was almost by Genesee, who just trapped it between himself and the pipe on the near side.
Big save by Genesee. Very big save because that had goal written all over it.
Wildcats clear it out. Alexander with it, 44 with a short stick, defensive midfielder. He's into the offensive zone. Jenny trying to go up by 2 goals. Duffy behind the cage. Stevens has 2 of the goals. Duffy the other. Bville now set in its defense.
Nice stick check.
Good play made by the Bville Bees, and they'll look to break it out. Jason Burton, 41. Excellent stick work. He picks up the ground ball and scoops it into the offensive zone for Canella.
Credit that whole sequence to him. He just did a beautiful job coming up with the stick check ground ball and clearing it over.
Dave Brostick allows his teammates to get the offensive setup. Under 3 minutes now to go in the first half. Mark Straub is out there, second midfielder. First time we've seen him, number 3. Dave Brostick, right-handed cradle. He's very quick, and there's going to be a definite penalty called against West Genesee. A man up coming for the Bees. Stevens will pick it up.
Well, they first of all wanted to get a 1-minute slash. It's going to be 33. And he just came up there and just wanted to see if he could hear any bells for the rest of the day as he dinged them on the head. You saw his head get whipped a little bit. Got to keep the sticks between the shoulders and the waist.
Mike Messer, Joe, has some words for Stevens. McCarthy, who has 1 goal, the first of the night for Bville, is in there on the attack now. Man-up situation for the Bees. Dan Brostick. Tim Houck out there. Ganella fires and scores again. Jim Ganella from the left wing gets it, and we're tied at 3 with 2:21 to go in the first half.
That was a pretty shot by Ganella. He's quite an athlete, as you said. Pete Fiorini does think the world of this kid, and I'll tell you why. Take a look. Feed over to the left side here. Left goalie's right. And then bingo, there's your shot. He just rifled it in. The velocity on that shot is what did it for him. You know, back to the penalty. What Massera was saying is you get your stick up there, a good attackman's just going to nudge it up and get himself in the head. He doesn't want to get hit in the head, but he might draw a foul that way. He said, get your stick in, get it right out.
Duffy has come up big on face-offs for West Genesee. Brings into Manning the offensive zone. 3-3 game, heading down to the 2-minute mark. Conway handles, back to Brian Duffy. Got size as well, kind of tough to stop. Fires on net. That one got the pipe to the right of Brandt. And there as well, to pick up the brunt of that ball was Matt Coleman, number 44. It was either off Coleman or the pipe, and we'll take a look.
Well, first of all, he's going to make a nice move here. Gets a defender beat, and he just bings off. Not sure what it hit. Might have been the pipe. But whatever it hit, it got enough velocity off the bump.
It was off Matt Coleman's head, right off his face mask. As we head down to the 1:45 mark now of the first half. Regardless, West Jenny with the ball in the offensive zone. Tie game. So far, an outstanding, well-played contest between these two rivals in Division 1. Brown with it on the left wing.
Pick up.
Fires again for Duffy. That shot bounced, but a good play by Brandt. He just got a piece of it and enough to smother and rake it in.
2 things. Brandt made the save, but number 1. Number 2, he was all alone because nobody slid over to pick up the shooter. He had an open shot to the cage. You hear the defense talking from our field microphones every now and you can say, someone will say, go, go. That means I'm your backup. Go ahead and pick him up.
Coleman with it on the far side with the long stick. Good pass. Brostick who loses his man. Dave Brostick breaking in. Tries a pass, Ganella. He's in the crease area, but he's smothered by Giannuzzi. Good defense by the goaltender. And now whistle, and we've got a stoppage in play with 47 seconds left in the second quarter.
Got an offside, it looks like. Blues offside, they're saying.
Technical violation.
Time served, half a minute.
Against West Genesee. So, man up coming. 47 seconds, 3-3 game.
I think what contributed to that was the delayed substitution by West Genesee, and they had too many people over the line. You can only have timeout. Baldwinsville, they want to get settled with that much time left. They want to make good use of it. They can, as we said before, hold on to it and not have a face-off to begin the second half. But with 47 seconds, you got enough time to try a couple options.
We are back in a couple of moments. 47 seconds left. 3-3 game in the first half. Please stay with us. Back to Liverpool in 1 moment.
Lacrosse, the power behind the game.
Just 47 seconds remaining in the first half. And Joe, the road to the championship game has been a bit different for both teams. For Bville, a bye being the top seed, and then a 10-2 rout over the FM Hornets. For West Genesee, a very close game over head coach Carrie Quothe's Liverpool Warriors. 8-7 in a great one in the semifinals.
The 2 and 3 seeds came up head-to-head, and it was really close. I guess Liverpool scored their 7th goal with only a few seconds left, so it was really almost a 2-goal margin, but nevertheless quite a game. And I think for the most part, the lead changed 2 or 3 times.
Coach Masser called that a very emotional win. They were down 3-1 and 6-4. Came back to win 7-6. Ganella, a couple of goals, fires in front. What a pass for Brostick, but a better stop made by Giannuzzi, who stoned him right in front. Big play with 20 seconds remaining in the half.
Biggest
Super
play of the
anticipation.
half. I guess so. That was just incredible. Nice athletic move by the Bees to make that shot, and a great save by Giannuzzi.
Got 11 seconds. Burgundy has time for one more rush. Fires to Ganella. He passes in front. They try to get it to Hauk. 3 seconds left, and that's going to end the half. We are done with 20 minutes from a rain-soaked, wet and windy Liverpool High School. The Division I championship on the line, 3-3, and we're back in a couple of moments with the second half right after these words. Very wet, windy, rainy night. Halftime stats, Joe.
Well, take a look at the shots on cage. Bville's getting the shots off. And second and third shots, because Giannuzzi's kind of slapping away at some of them. McCarthy got a goal off one of those. Saves. Giannuzzi's been there, though, for a lot of those shots. And Bville hasn't been tested all that much, has Brandt. Ground balls, for the most part, West Jenny coming up a little bit. But there's no real big difference, and the score's indicative of it.
Jim Ganella with the ball. Bville moving now from your right to left. He is hammered by Smiley with a long stick. Gathered by Brostick, and there's going to be 2 penalty flags dropped, and we're going to have a man up coming up. The Bville Bees, you can see the slash, a 1-minute non-releasable.
No, it should be releasable if there's a goal scored.
Right. Conway will pick up the violation slash 1 minute. So Bville a chance.
Ganella made a run right into the coverage before, and then they came out to him like flies. And one of the 6 came up a little bit too hot.
Hauk works to Presley. Dave Brostick, 31 goals this year, 24 assists for 55 points. He didn't score, though, against FM in the semifinals. Presley, top of the box, whips a shot on. Good save, though, by Giannuzzi. Presley had almost 30 goals this year, 29. 7 assists for 36 points, further exemplifying the firepower that Bville possesses.
Bville's man up. They should come up with this ball. They shouldn't have denied the clear anyway.
Ganella pushes down Stevens on the far side. Possession back to the Bees, and middies come back on for Gandhi and Presley. And the defensive midfielders off now for Baldwinsville. About a minute into quarter number 3. 3-3 game. Duffy had a goal. 2 scored by Stevens. Mike McCarthy 1 for Bville. Jim Ganella had 2. And that is where we stand as we open up the second half. Sectional championship on the line. McKeague with it. Plays catch with Brandt, who's way out of his crease, about 20 yards. Front of the net.
And we got a slow whistle because there's a flag down on this near side.
There it is. A violation is going to be called. We've got offsides upcoming.
One's got a procedure penalty. I'm not sure whether it's the same one, but I've got an offside signaled by official Miller. Procedure.
2 officials, 2 calls.
He said he had, first of all, he had a technical foul on the blue, and then there was a procedure penalty on the white that stopped the play on the slow whistle, which means all it does is stop the play. White gets the ball, and blue's going to serve a time. The technical 30 seconds.
That's what we have you here for, Joe, to weed out all the problems.
Wet weeds today.
Tim Houck will start things off. Triggers play in the near side. Works for Presley. McCarthy, one of the 3 goals for Bville on the evening. Ganella behind the cage. Houck, top of the box area. He slips as he tries to get his pass off. Brosnick able to run it down, though. Plenty of real estate for him, and he will reset the offense for Bville.
And 2 West Jenny guys came way out of the box to pick him up, so the man-up situation for Baldwinsville was like 4 men against 3. 5 against 3, actually.
Houck on the far side. Penalty now released. Good play by Genesee out of his crease to intercept the ball, and he'll fire his pass upfield. Foster, Heron, and Smiley running with him. Long stick defenseman. Now Jenny in the offensive zone. 3-3 game, 7:35 and counting left in the third. Stevens and Conway back on now as the midfielder switch complete for West Genesee. Manning driving in. His shot. Good play as it's sticked aside by Dave Brandt. West Jenny more possession in front. Duffy spinning and scoring. What a shot by Brian Duffy. His 2nd goal of the night, first here in period number 3. It's a 4-3 game in favor of the Wildcats.
A pretty feed from behind the crease as the attack gets the ball, feeds to a Duffy who makes, as you said, a perfect roll move. Defenders overplayed him one side, and he just puts it right on the ground in Brandt's feet.
Super looking goal from Brian Duffy, one of the key players for Coach Mike Messer. 4-3. Joe Klein and Duffy battling in midfield. Possession will go to West Genesee. Conway picks up the loose ball. Rob Manning. Duffy. Dives and jukes, puts a shot on goal. That was broken up right in front and then comes into the cross of goaltender Dave Brandt.
Duffy has a nice ability to get his free hand away from the defense and a lot of velocity on a shot with only one hand.
Key with it. And go into the offensive zone. Pickard with a long stick. The Brosnick penalty flag dropped.
There it is. They went high on him.
Houck put it into the net. That is going to be waved off, though.
It's a penalty on Baldwinsville.
That's right. We've got a slash upcoming. Looks like on Pickard, 24.
It's going to take away a goal. Take a look here as we come over on your right, lower right. He came up high after he made the pass. Right on the tail end of that footage, he came up high on him and got a slash. But I was about to say that they were going to Genesee low all the time, and they finally went high on him. And just at the time they went high on him, they lost the ball.
All right, now we'll see if Jenny can capitalize. They've got the man up for 1 minute and the lead. Duffy scored a couple of moments ago, works to Manning. Mike Stevens, he scored twice. Trent Brown out there on attack. Here's Stevens again, now on the right wing this time. Brian Duffy scored moments ago. Brett straight behind the cage. Brown, good feed. It goes to Dwyer. Bounce shot, but a nice save by Brandt. Loose ball, though. It's picked up by West Jenny.
Got to watch the cutters. There it is.
Crease it goes. They fire it to Brown, and his shot was stick to side. Never really got to the goaltender, Brown, who barely got a piece of it. And Brett Straight able to pick it up, as you can see. Field level on the near side. West Jenny to reset.
And they're even up now. Everybody's got to get numbers.
Good penalty kill. The Bville Bees, sides even, as Joe pointed out. Manning whips off a shot. Brandt able to stick it aside as he just got a piece of it on one knee. Nice save by Dave Brandt, the goaltender. Came up big there.
Yes, perfect. And just an unusual penalty that led to the man up in the first place, because Bville had the ball, and as soon as he dished off the pass, he came up high and checked the defender who was coming up to him. It was on the tail end of the footage we showed you on the replay. The whistle should have been blown immediately then, because Bville made the penalty and Bville had the ball.
Here is Jim Ganella, Bville charging in. He is hammered, and we're going to have a penalty called. That's going to go on West Genesee. Kevin Sheedy, 42, pummeling Jim Ganella with the ball right to the turf.
Good sportsmanship after that foul, but take a look as he comes up here. Bingo, right behind there. See that cross check? It's going to be 1 minute penalty. Either they'll call it a legal body check or a cross check. He's calling it a cross check, exactly what I thought it would be. And so we've got a 1 minute advantage for the Bees. But when they came up after that foul, some of the guys just looked at each other like, you know, nose to nose, face mask to face mask, but they gave each other a little hug and a pat on the back.
4:52 and counting to go in the third. 4-3 game. Wildcats on top of Bville with a good chance here to tie this one up. Dan Brostick works to Hauk. Dave Brostick tries the feed, but Presley puts a shot in there. Goal for Presley from the right wing. Dan Presley's tied this game up at 4 apiece. 4:35 to go in the third.
It's almost a wonder who's going to have the ball at the end might win this game. I tell you, nice job. First of all, we're going to take a look at it from the goalie's right. Ball goes behind where Fiorini likes to have the team start it. Then they dish up to the midi making the cut. There he is. He isn't making his cut. He's shooting from the perimeter, but the defense is sitting back off of him. Gives him a lot of shooting space. Just like watching the Bulls, Michael Jordan, you give him a lot of space, he'll make the threes all night long. That's exactly what they did.
West Jenny now trying to get back some momentum. Duffy able to win the face. He controls now top of the box. We are tied up at 4-4. Couldn't ask for a better matchup.
The wind's picking up a little bit, isn't it, David?
Duffy tries to drive and score, and that shot right behind the goaltender. And folks, it is difficult to tell from different angles with TV cameras, the depth perception about how much it's raining, but from some you can see that it is raining quite a bit. And evidence with Pete Fiorini, who is doused completely on the Bville sideline, but I don't think Joey's worried about getting wet at this point.
No, not in the least.
4-4 game. Duffy on the left wing. Brown works to Stevens. Conway out there. His pass intended for Dwyer is high. It'll go out of bounds, and the turnover gives it back to Bville.
Unfortunate miscue for the Wildcats, and the Bees are going to try to capitalize on it. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, when they had a penalty, Bville, on the tail end of the penalty that they incurred, they went high on Giannuzzi. Presley's shot was kind of high. We're going to have to wait and see exactly where the shot goes this time.
Jim Ganella mishandles the pass as they trigger the play, and a whistle.
It's a moving pick right here.
A moving
Go
pick,
this
as you
way.
can hear it very well.
Moving
The
pick.
field official. Against West Genesee, Bville again will attempt to clear it out of the defensive zone.
Right here, please.
Kurt Lingenfelder's telling them exactly where to put the ball, and right there on the field camera, you're going to take a look at it. He's going to come up here, and as soon as they come up with a ground ball, they got to know exactly. See, number 160 comes up there and doesn't set a stationary pick, cuts off the Bville defender, but he doesn't do it in a stationary position. He's moved.
Bville tries to move into the offensive zone. That ball skips beyond the end line, and the Bees will have it in offensive possession. Dan Giannuzzi hustling toward the end line, not quite in time.
Some people are questioning whether or not that should be Bville's possession, whether it was called a shot or not. If it's a shot, the one closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds is the one that gets possession. If it was a pass, it must have been deflected off a blue shirt. Across a gentleman with a blue shirt, nonetheless.
Brostick starts play. Jim Ganella, couple of goals tonight. You're tied at 4-4 if you're just joining us on a wet evening from Liverpool High School. Sectional championship on the line here in Class A, Division I.
They must have called that a shot to give it to Baldwinsville.
Presley slips on his roll dodge move, but finds Dave Brostick instead, top of the box. Right-handed cradle, fires. Giannuzzi smothers it. Nice play by the goaltender, and both goalies, Joe, really come up big despite the adverse conditions.
That's one of the keys of the game we highlighted in the opening. But I'll tell you, unsettled situation.
Presley regains, though, then fires. Rebound. Brostick had a shot at it, but it's gathered in front by Giannuzzi. McCarthy was right on the doorstep as well for Bville. He has 1 goal tonight for the Bees. In front, some more trouble as West Jenny unable to handle.
Bees got to be a little bit more patient on offense. They had a couple of shots that were maybe not the best shot selection. Pete Fiorini sees that too. He calls timeout. They got to get settled, get in their offense. They run their offense, they're going to get a point on the board. Last 2 shots they did were just ill-advised, as I said.
And again, folks, tonight's broadcast is brought to you exclusively by Brine, the power behind the game. Very proud to have our broadcast tonight sponsored by Brine, official sponsor of this evening's contest. 4-4 game, 2:27 to go, and you can see all the umbrellas that are out, the rain slickers. Folks trying to stay as dry as possible, but they want to see this exciting finish between West Genesee and Bville. The Bees, the #1 seed. West Jenny, the perennial champion here in Central New York. And what an incredible record Coach Messer has piled up since taking over the program in Camillus. Trying to continue it here tonight, but it has not been easy. Bville's playing with a lot of confidence, and remember they had a bye in the first round and pretty much not a lot of trouble with FM in the semifinals.
No, they didn't. And FM has quite an offense. They just shut them right down. Took them right out of their game. But I tell you, Bville's playing so well this time of the year.
Bees get another goal. Just as Joe says it, in front they went. Ganella was able to get a shot off, it looked like, to get the goal. Just as play was started again, Jim Ganella has got his third, a hat trick for him. And it's a 5-4 Bville lead with 2:18 to go in the third.
This is a kid who plays so beautifully. He's going to be running out there, off to your side, off to the side, avoids the stick check. Defender feels the defender's pressure, and then just cranks. You know, that's a long distance away. These shots are going in from like 15 yards out.
Line and Duffy battle. Ganella, who just scored a moment ago, able to pick up the ground ball and give Bville possession. Brostick brings into the offensive zone. Bees not in any hurry with the 1-goal lead. We're under 2 minutes to go in the third. Bville on top. Dave Brostick, #1 with it. He's watched by the West Jenny defense. Wildcats doing that tough man-to-man D. Dragandi, roll dodge move, shot on goal. Giannuzzi got a piece of it and then looks to gobble it up, but can't. Excellent pressure right in the crease area by Bville, and that's been a big factor, Joe, as they look to scoop up those rebounds.
Oh, nice ground ball. Good hustle by the white shirts. Actually, both teams hustling well for ground balls. Baldwinsville comes up with that one.
Here's Ganella again. We got 4 goals. Man, does he move well in that zone area. He fires and scores again. Jim Ganella again for #4. And #17 is getting unstoppable. 1:22 to go in the period. It's a 6-4 lead now. Just like that, Bville a 2-goal edge.
And Jim Ganella's highlight film tonight, as he just pops another one in there. He's doing it all today. There's a feet across crease. Ganella's going to put a move, and then he's just going to get the defense to commit one way. Then he's going to get the 2 defenders to block each other, and seeing them out of position, he goes back the other way, and he's just going to keep cutting. Defenders come out to him, and he just causes Giannuzzi to do a split. That's part of the success of that. First of all, Giannuzzi was out of position a little bit, and he was kind of off balance, but not to take away from the beautiful shot by Ganella.
There's a slow whistle penalty flag down, Joe, off the face-off. Some hammering done, and this shot on a delayed penalty. We're going to have a penalty coming up against Bville, and we may have a 1-minute man up coming for West Genesee.
Yeah, it's an illegal body check. 1 minute illegal body check, and the Bees, right after getting the momentum from Ganella's 2 quick goals, are going to find themselves in a situation where they're going to have to shut down the Wildcats man up.
1:06 to go in the third. 6-4 game. Penalty is on Brostic for the body check. .52 seconds to go in the quarter. Stevens, top of the box, works to Manning, who's been held scoreless tonight. We mentioned what an offensive powerhouse he is. Rob Manning with 39 goals, 15 assists this year. Had a goal, no assist in the semifinal win over Liverpool. 6-4 game.
Manning was a little bit tentative on that shot. He was kind of flat-footed, and he didn't follow through.
Brown starts play. Brett straight behind the cage. Duffy, top of the box. 30 seconds and counting now left in the third. 2-goal lead for Bville. Wildcats in the man up. Manning. Tough to get his footing out there. The rain still falling at quite a clip. Has been all night, and the field getting a little bit muddy now as we head to the fourth quarter. There's a feed in front. Right on the doorstep was straight, but he couldn't quite pull the trigger. And what a play by Dave Brandt again in the Bville defense. 9 seconds left at the quarter. Shot on that, and another goal for West Genesee. It's Stevens again. Number 33, Mike Stevens scores it. And what a night he has had. Goal number 3 for Mike Stevens.
Great effort by Stevens. A valiant effort prior to that by the Bees for shutting down the vaunted West Wildcats offense. But there he is. He's just going to crank out there. Again, a shot from some distance on the ground. Skimmed along there, and an irregular bounce just went right by Brown.
6-5 game, only 6 seconds to go in the third. And folks, if you're just tuning in or you've been watching all evening, this is going to be a great finish. We urge you to stay for the fourth quarter. 1-goal game. And time has expired here in period number 3. 6-5, Bville riding on the wings of Jim Ganello. Now has 4 goals. The fans braving the conditions. We're back with a 4th right after this. We are now set for quarter number 4. 6-5 game. Bville getting final instructions. And as we mentioned, the weather conditions are not really getting better, Joe. They are worsening as the evening goes on. The track here at Liverpool High getting kind of drenched. The fans are drenched. We're not drenched, though.
No, not yet. Players are playing a really great game considering the environment. I'll tell you, that last goal for West Genesee with 6 seconds left really was a high for the Wildcats, and they really had to make, you know, Bville feel a little bit down. Face-offs, West Genesee, a slight domination. They come up. Or who's going to come up with this one? I thought it might be possession.
Joe Klein going for it. Picks up the ground ball, and Bville tries to get possession. Sides have switched now. The Bees going from left to right in this fourth and final quarter. Unless we're faced with an overtime situation, which at this point is certainly a possibility. Bville by 1 goal. And the Bees now with a chance after that violation against West Genesee to clear it out.
It was a loose ball hold. Turns the ball over to Bolensville, who had won that face-off. The penalty, or excuse me, the officials called possession white on the face-off off to the left and released the people from the restraining area.
Dave Brandt. Long lead pass as he tried to go ahead, but instead Tom Pickard, 24, with a long stick, couldn't handle, and you could see he was very upset. Turnover back to West Genesee. 30 seconds into the fourth.
Crossfield.
Crossfield, that goes right over the cross of number 25, Bob Foster, the long stick. Defenseman unable to handle the pass, and Coach Mike Messer does not like to see those kind of fundamental errors, Joe, especially in the fourth quarter of the sectional championship.
You got it when you're trailing by a goal. One of the things you want to do in a ride is force the long passes, crossfield passes like that, which produce errors, and exactly what happened right there. Nice job on the ride.
Jim Ganello triggers play. Watched by Bill Dwyer, goes back to Brandt. You want one guy on the field handling the ball in key situations Coach Pete Fiorini wants Jim Ganella with it. They have an offside call.
No, he stepped on the
sideline. On the sideline, the far side, and that's a turnover. So now West Genesee, the door open to the Wildcats and their attack. We'll see if they can tie it up.
We'll see if either team can clear the ball. Both have had little success in the last few minutes. And almost from the same relative position, too.
Wildcats look to work in the offensive zone, trailing by 1. Stevens has been all over offensively tonight. Dwyer on the left wing. Look for Manning in front. They try to find Duffy, who's streaking toward the goal. Instead, it bounds out toward midfield. Picked up, though. Good play by Conway. Rob Manning with it on the left wing. He's been held very quiet this evening. Excellent zone defense by Bville has shut him down. Duffy's been so big on the faceoffs. Key player. Trent Brown on the left wing. They fire in front, try to get a shot off. Conway couldn't quite handle, and Dave Brandt comes up with it. Looked for the long outlet pass, and the Bville Bees will try to break out.
In the hands of a short stick, he should be able to clear it over. They're converging on him. Somebody's got to be open.
Try to go deep for Tim Houck, but instead Giannuzzi gobbles it up. He'll fire a long outlet pass, and now Jenny looking to move it the other way in the form of Mike Stevens. Foster with a long stick. Does not cross the midfield line. Dwyer with it. Back to Stevens. Good roll dodge move. Maintains possession. Stevens got 3 goals. Fires on net. Never quite got there. Skips then beyond the goaltender, Dave Brandt. A little bit wide to the right of the goal, and we've got a timeout situation coming up. Mike Messer, West Genesee, wants to talk things over. 7:47 to go. A 6-5 game. And again, this broadcast is brought to you exclusively by Brine, the power behind the game. Very proud tonight to have Brine, our exclusive sponsor. Tonight's championship game between West Genesee and Bville. And we're back right after these words. The Lacrosse Foundation is hosting the first annual golf tournament June 20th, and hopefully the weather will be better than here tonight in Liverpool at Foxfire Golf Course in Bville. There are foursomes still available at $80 per man. Proceeds from the tournament will be used to support various lacrosse programs in Central New York. Call Randy Powers for information at 449-3000. Back to the action now, Joe. 7:35 to go in the fourth. A 6-5 lead for the Bees.
I think a good timeout by Mike Messer, and both teams benefit from it. Neither team was very settled in its offense and a little out of sync, actually.
Conway with it. Goes to Mike Stevens. Has the hat trick already. Dwyer's out there along with Rob Manning to the right of the goaltender, Dave Brandt, holding his stick up high, trying to pick off any pass that comes into the crease. Duffy with it. His pass errant, but Stevens got plenty of room to pick it up. Brian Duffy fires to Trent Brown out there on attack number 11. Stevens works. Pass in front. Here's Brown now. Even with a post, he fires up top. For Manning, who will look to gather it up now just near the end line. He's behind the cage and he's got it. 6:35 and counting to go now in the fourth. Good play by Stevens to handle that low one, kind of a short hop. And he maintains possession. Good Bville zone defense. Duffy to Brown on the left wing. Trent Brown, conservative offense here for West Genesee, looking to get a really good shot. There's one and a goal. Put in there by West Genesee, and this game is tied up. Looked like Stevens got it again. We'll see. Mike Stevens scores again, and that is his 4th goal of the night. This one's tied at 6.
He and Ganoa having a little contest. They're very patient. They found the hole in the zone, and Stevens sees it right there. A left-handed shot. He just wings it right in there and beats Brandt. As I said, it takes time and patience to break a zone. You have to find out where the holes in it are and attack it. First couple passes around, they didn't find it, but then they went to him, and he spotted somebody who didn't bump.
6-6 game. Ganella the other way. He scores again! Jim Ganella's got another goal, his 5th. 7-6 game. The Bees right back on top, and Baldwinsville answers in a hurry with 6:03 to go in the fourth.
mark this time wisely, because I'll tell you right now, that may be the goal that turns it around. It got Bville back into it, got them with their goal lead again. And I'll tell you something, Ganella and Stevens are playing one kind of game as I'll do it, now you. And no, I did it, now you try to catch up. The two of them are showing exactly why they're among the best in the league.
You can see, Joe, the intensity picking up on both benches here as we head now under the 6-minute mark. 7-6 game.
Loose ball
push again will go up against West Genesee, so the Bees to attack. There's Jim Ganella. What a game this kid has had. 5 goals for number 17. The last giving his team, and look at the Bville bench, excited as you can imagine. A 7-6 lead. Jim Ganella handles in the offensive zone. Matt Bragandi with it, top of the box. Bville now can afford to be patient. Ganella even with the pipes. Bragandi, top of the box. He's got Dave Brostick on the right wing. He's watched by Smiley. Patient Bville offense now. Looking for the good high percentage shot at this point of the game. That's what Coach Pete Fiorini would like to see. Presley streaking in. He's going to fire one on net. He was hammered, though, sandwiched by a couple of West Genesee defenders, including number 29, Dennis Herring, you can see there. And now the call will go against West Genesee.
It was a play on push, going to turn the ball back to the Bville Bees. First of all, Presley makes his shot, and it just falls to the ground. As the ball comes up, there was a sequence that led to a play on push. Ball was loose, and so it was loss of possession by the Wildcats.
7-6 game. Bees in the offensive zone, trying to add to that 1-goal lead, get themselves a 2-goal cushion. Matt Bragandi, left-handed cradle. Streaking in. Bragandi tries to get a shot off. Giannuzzi there, though, and he rakes it in his crease. Big save by Dan Giannuzzi. Long outlet pass, though, and he throws it away. Bville gets another crack at it. It was a long, dangerous, low-percentage outlet pass by Giannuzzi, and he could not find his man with a long stick. Kevin Sheedy, number 42.
One of the first things a goalie wants to do when he looks to clear is go to the guy who was defending the shooter, because the shooter, or that man, and the goalie are the two most aware the shot was taken. Surprised he went the other way.
Now Bville on the clear. Brandt way out of his cage. Works with his defensemen, Matt Cohn, McKeague, and Picker on the long sticks.
Bring a short stick back and dish it off to him if they can.
Coleman on the near side, number 44. He's on the right wing to the bottom left of your picture.
Ganella's up in the middle of the field.
McKeague near midfield, lost possession for a moment. Presley, though, going into the big bodies and comes away with it. Goes right to Dave Brostick. Big play for Bville. Now whistle, and we got another timeout coming up. Looks like Bville wants to talk things over. Big possession here, and you can see why. 3:58 to go in the fourth, 7-6 game. Dave Brostick and the Bville Bees with a 1-goal lead.
It's a good timeout by Pete Fiorini to settle the offense down. He's got a chance to go up 2, and he doesn't want to lose that opportunity by maybe some errant pass or maybe getting the kids a little out of their offense. He says, look, if they throw this kind of defense at you, here's what we want to do. There's 2 Bville huddles right now. Pete Fiorini's with one group, and he's got another group over there with Coach Donahue as assistant. On the other side of the fence, Wildcats up for one big huddle. Coach Massera is saying, look, we're down a goal with 3:58 to go. We got to shut them down on this possession, get the ball back and score. It's very fundamental, very simple.
Again, tonight's broadcast officially brought to you by Brine, exclusive sponsor of tonight's game, the power behind the game. A proud official sponsor of this evening's game, Brine, the best in lacrosse. 3:58 to go, quarter number 4, 7-6. You can see our official Brine poster out there, waving in the wind, and the conditions have not really gotten any better as the evening has gone on. The folks have packed in Liverpool High School tonight, enjoying the action in the final.
As we panned that field shot, you saw the press box where we are hermetically sealed behind the plastic and dry as a bone. Thank you.
Good planning on your part, Jeff.
Oh, yes, but we'll get wet soon.
Presley. One arm up, calls the signal. He and Ganella back, top of the box area. Brostick on the wing.
2-2-2 offense. Then they're going to break out of it.
Presley with it. 3:28 and counting. Matt Brigandi, key player on the midfield for Baldwinsville.
They're flooding one side.
Ganella, can he score again? Bounce shot. This time Giannuzzi up for the task. In front, it was loose. Brosnick had a cross on it. Now looks like we've got a crease violation going against Bville. Deb Brosnick was in the crease, and the call will give West Genesee a chance to clear.
The officials right there. Take a look at it from the field level. First a shot, and then Giannuzzi makes a save, and the ball just bops out a little bit. Now see, that's bopped out of his crease a couple times, but right there he's in the crease.
West Genesee now will start it off. Dennis Herron works the Giannuzzi. Bob Foster, Herron, and Smiley are the long stick defensemen. There's Dan Giannuzzi, one of the key players for West Genesee. Smiley, who is big, got great size, very strong defenseman for West Genesee.
Probably going to Syracuse University, as I understand it.
That's right. Morris Simmons Jr. certainly happy to have him. But now he's worried about winning a sectional championship. In front they go, and Duffy was stoned. Great save in front by Brandt. Ball still loose. Brandt trying to rake it into his crease, and a whistle. We may have a violation going against West Genesee for a crease violation right in front. No, a push against Bville.
Okay, that's a big call right there. It was also a great save. First of all, the cut's going to be made by Duffy. There it is, looking over Duffy's shoulder. Brandt shuts him down, and then the ball gets moving all around the crease. White shirts come up with it, trying to clear the crease. In the process, you're going to see a loose ball push on the white by number 44. He puts a blue shirt down.
High drama, Joe, at Liverpool High School. 7-6 game, 2:39. As West Genesee will put it into play in the offensive zone. Chance to tie, and you know Coach Mike Messer wants a good high percentage shot here.
Brandt's got to come up big again. That was a beautiful save on Duffy on his part, and that loose ball push wasn't exactly what they wanted.
Conway with the top of the box. They're heading down to the 2-minute mark. Stevens has been so impressive tonight, along with Duffy. Trent Brown on the left wing. Rob Manning working it behind the cage. Ball loose for a moment. West Genesee there. Can they scoop up the ground ball? Stevens does find the handle now finally on the far side. Down to 2:05 left in the fourth.
Coming in 2 minutes, the stall warning will be in effect. Neither team can stall. It's very important for Bville to consider that. They're going to be warned when they get the ball in the box to keep it in when it gets down the other end.
Trent Brown works to Conway. They've got to watch the stalls, Joe mentioned. Duffy on the left wing for Dwyer. Top of the box it goes for Stevens, who's been so effective. Manning behind the cage. West Genesee controls. Duffy trying to streak in. On the wing it's Brown. Manning. They fire. Stevens tries to get across on it. Nearly broken up, but West Genesee's got it. Conway with it now. We've got 1:24 to go. West Genesee still with it. Duffy tries to put it in front. They score. Dwyer gets the goal.
That is a big
1:19 to go, and this game is tied at 7-7. Boy, they waited and waited, Joe, and you can see the faithful that have come from Camillus from the west side who enjoyed this game in Liverpool, loving it. A tie contest with 1:19 to go.
Okay, just like we said early on, if you get zone defense, you got to be patient. The zone is sagging. They just move the ball around, and now they dish and they penetrate. There's your shot. Came off the one cutter, and then there he is right on the left, or the goalie's right, and just dished that rebound shot right in.
Man, oh man, what a game we've got in our hands here. 7-7 with 1:14 to go and counting in the fourth. Joe Klein of Bville wins the face-off in a big one, and now you know Coach Pete Fiorini is going to take a timeout and discuss this very big possession. 1 minute, 8 seconds to go, standing between one of these two teams, a sectional championship. We know you'll come back from Liverpool right after this. The two teams breaking huddle after the timeouts. 7-7 game, sectional championship on the line from Liverpool High School. 1:08, 68 seconds left before we got some overtime.
Would we say the team with the ball last might win it? It might end up to be that way.
I tell you. Pete Fiorini is doused, as we mentioned. Patrolling the sidelines for Bville. In a moment, we'll discuss exactly what we might face in overtime. There's Jim Ganella. He wants his 6th goal. Ganella streaking in, and this one is steered aside. Giannuzzi didn't know where it was for a moment, but he's able to gather it up in his crease.
Ganella went high on him, too.
For a moment, he didn't know where the ball was. We're under a minute now, 45 seconds to go. Under the lights at Liverpool High. West Jenny must be very careful in their own zone. Smiley with it with a long stick. Careful on the outlet pass. He overthrows it. Recovered by Bville. Can the Bees gain possession? They can't. Genessee's got the loose ball. 25 seconds and counting to go. In regulation. Heron's pass out of bounds, and Bville's going to get another shot. Possession goes to the Bees. 22 seconds left.
Okay, if this goes into overtime, we're going to have 2 3-minute periods. At the end of that 2 3-minute periods, then we go to sudden victory. And in playoff situations, I'm not sure how many sudden victory periods they've agreed to, but I think they're going to play until we get a winner.
Bville will try to do it right now. Coleman is pushed from behind. He got a shot on net just as he went down. They went wide, and Bville there to back it up. Tim Houck was there.
I was being facetious. You know they're going to play till they get a winter. A winner. Not till winter, a winner.
Hopefully not. Yeah. Our situation, 15 seconds in regulation. We are looking OT in the face unless Bville can score in dramatic fashion. 7-7 game with a sectional championship on the line. Could have asked for a better one. Bville puts it in play. Houck to Presley, who mishandles for a moment. West Jenny trying to gather it up. We're down to 7 seconds left in regulation. Will Bville get off one more shot? Down to 3 seconds, and that's going to do it. That is it. 40 minutes gone, and we're going to need 2 more 3-minute periods at least to decide a champion for the 1992 Section 3 Class A Division 1. 7-7. We've got overtime coming up right after this. We are back and set for the first 3-minute overtime period, Joe. 7-7. So now what are the strategies? Okay, first of all, let's clarify. They will play 2 3-minute ones. If anybody scores and wins this overtime period, that's not it. They go on to the second one. They must play 2 overtime periods. Strategies, you got to come out big. Just play the way you've been playing. I see Bville going to Genesee. They went high on him the last shot. A couple times they did. He lost the ball, as you pointed out in that last one. They may go on him again. And I'll tell you something else. They're going to have to be penalty-free. Boy, is this the best $2 ticket in town tonight or what? I tell you. Jim Ganella, 5 goals. Mike Stevens has 4 for West Genesee. They're the offensive stars, but the goaltenders for both squads have been just fantastic. Dave Brandt for Coach Pete Fiorini's Bville Bees, and Dan Giannuzzi for Coach Masser's Wildcats. When the horn went off signaling the end of the game, I saw 2 different emotional things. First of all, West Genesee was jumping up and down. They were elated that they were tied at this point because they had denied Bville, who had the ball and had made a timeout before that. Bville was a little dejected because they didn't come up with a win at that point. They're going to have to get back into the game, a positive attitude, knowing they can win it. Otherwise, the motivation, I think, is with the blue shirts. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Remember, one of the games between these 2 teams, Joe, was decided in overtime at West Jenny, the victory that Bville was able to pull out during the regular season. 1 of 2 3-minute OT periods, 7-7 after regulation, and the fans, I don't think they're minding the rain so much. They're really enjoying the exciting lacrosse action. Actually, the umbrellas are down. It's pleasant. A rarity on a night like this, but certainly a pleasant surprise. We're in between splashes, so a nice crowd. I'm really glad to see the crowd under the circumstances of the weather. The fans roaring a bit for both sides. West Jenny is psyched up. Bville fans on their feet in the grandstand. Well, you have to applaud. You have to applaud the effort on both squads, and they've been just phenomenal tonight. Set to do it again as they have all night long in midfield for faceoffs. Brian Duffy for West Genesee in the blue shirts, and they are moving from left to right. Joe Klein to Bville in those home whites, the top seed in this sectional championship, Division I, Class A, and Duffy wins it. He lost possession, though, and Klein gets it back. The midfielder made a big play. He's going to come off, and they're going to bring on Matt Brigandi. Dave Brostick and Ganella play catch with it until Brigandi can come on. That's an indication of one of the situations where you see number of faceoffs. Look at the saves that Giannuzzi's made, 15-8. He's really been tested. But I'll tell you, when a faceoff stat shows a number, you see how quickly West Jenny lost that faceoff after they come up with the ball. Here is Dave Brostick spinning in, shooting. Good play by Giannuzzi. Made a very nice save as he took away the angle between his stick and the pipe. And now West Genesee on a clear. Aaron with it in the defensive zone.
One of the keys we pointed out early on was the goaltenders have got to be hot. Right now, Genesee is.
Dan Genesee handles in his own zone. 20, 25 yards, 30 now in front of his own cage. He's got Heron on the near wing, Smiley on the far side. Now Giannuzzi's going to bring it in himself. We'll see how far he goes before he dishes off, and finally gets it off to teammate. Duffy and Dwyer out there, control. West Jennings on the offensive. Trent Brown, far side. He has Dwyer, who scored the game-time goal, and what a big one that was toward the end of the fourth period. He got free in front. Put it home. Stevens, can he score again? He's in. He's got a goal. Mike Stevens puts it in. 1:23 left in the first overtime period, an 8-7 lead now for West Genesee.
They came out to double him, but he just rolled off the double. He knew that the double was coming from his left, but he rolled off to his right. Popped one in there, and he beat Brandt. Watch as they come out to him. There's one white shirt comes up to him, then they move out to double him. Both teams started to come, or both guys started to come up to him. He went to the open spot, and he just beat Brandt.
Well, I talked about Jim Ganella, Joe, with 5 goals. 5 now from Mike Stevens as well, and the offensive show from both of those guys tonight. 8-7 game.
I think they're playing a game within the game, aren't they?
I tell you. They have been the man offensively. Now, looking back to the last game, Stevens had a goal against Liverpool, only 22 for the year, and I say only compared to what Ganella's done this season. In the semifinals, Ganella was 3-2 against FM, and for the year, 31 goals, 38 assists. Trying for 6 goals on the evening. What a player, and there he is with it. Right-handed cradle against the Jenny defense. We've got 55 seconds left in the first overtime, 8-7 game. Bville hoping to tie it up. Presley.
There's a
penalty flag down. Be a man up now for Bville. Delayed penalty call. The shot never got to Giannuzzi, but a man up is coming now for the Bville Bees. On the defense was Matt Alexander, number 44.
You see on the far side, Jim O'Hara signaling a technical 30 on a hold. They come up there and just got his cross up there and delayed him enough. Kept his cross in there too long and held him. Slow whistle technique. They wait until the ball hits the ground or a shot is taken.
Technical foul on Alexander.
Bring the ball back and play from outside the box.
35 seconds to go in the first overtime. Ganella to Brostek. Works to Presley, top of the box. Dan Brostek with it. Tim Houck behind the cage. Dave Brostek looks to feed. Presley winds, fires. Good save by Giannuzzi, rakes it in. He wound up and ripped off a Whistler, but a nice save by Dan Giannuzzi. Loose ball, though, and Presley's got it back. Streaking in with 10 seconds left in the first overtime. Tries to find his man Burgundy, but over his cross, out of bounds with 5 seconds left in the first OT. Again, we'll have another 3-minute overtime period.
Don't these go by fast, though?
They do. 8-7, West Jenny on top with the ball. Looking to defend their sectional championship. What Coach Messer calls a rough ride of a season. They've lost more games this year than they have in all the years combined practically. But they rallied late in the season, and now we're done with one overtime period as the Wildcats run out the final 5 seconds. It's 8-7 West Genesee on Mike Stevens' 5th goal. We'll be back in a moment with a second overtime period. Please stay right here. After meeting with coaches Fiorini and Messer and assistants, 2 teams are set to go for the second overtime period. 3 more minutes up on the clock here at Liverpool High School on a wet, damp night. But boy, what a game we've had. 8-7 West Genesee on the 5th goal of the night by Stevens. And Joe, there you see the face-offs. Almost dead even between Klein and Duffy.
But I'll tell you, when we get to overtimes like this is the time the face-offs are very key. I said also, a face-off, you can come up with the ball and then lose it quickly. So what they do with it after they come up with it is very important.
Klein falls down. Ganella going for it. Duffy tries to get across on it. who can control. Duffy going for the grounder. Comes away to Dave Brosting. Bville streaks in. Shot on net, another goal! Put in there by Tim Houck. And this game is tied up at 8-8. A quick shot, the Whistler, from the left wing by Tim Houck. And we've got another tie with 2:47 to go in the second overtime.
A lot of velocity on that shot by Tim Houck. Great athletic move. He gets the feed from up top and just zings it right past Genesee. Field level shot is going to be dished off to him in a minute. You see the pass to him, and he just comes up and cranks. 1, 2, 3 steps, and bingo. Zips it right by there. Nice shot, nice look field level.
Back to the action. Tie game. Duffy controlling the faceoff from Klein this time. 30 seconds into the second overtime. Mike Stevens, with those 5 goals, gets instructions from Coach Messer and sets the offense. Rob Manning has not scored, but he's been a key player on the attack for West Jenny.
It's a nice-o.
Streaking in. Manning. Stick to side. Big play made by Brandt. Deflects all the way near midfield and picked up by West Jenny's Duffy.
They were flooding the goalie's left, and then they were coming on the right.
Duffy streaking in. Broken up from behind, and right there to pick it up, Trent Brown. Wire behind the cage. Under 2 minutes to go in the second overtime. We're tied. 8 apiece. Duffy asking Coach Messer if he wants a timeout. He won't call it. He got by Ganella for a moment. Duffy streaking in, tries to find a teammate. Pass is loose. Bville goes to scoop it, and the Bees now try to bring it to the offensive zone. Baldwinsville coming in.
There it is.
Bees in front. They will score it. Presley's got it. Great feed and ball work by the Baldwinsville Bees, and they lead this game with 1:31 to go in the second overtime. What a feed and play with Presley and Brosting.
I don't know if this will prove to be the game winner, but the picture-perfect passing, say that fast 3 times, is what led to the score, as you pointed out. The last feed over to Presley, one more pass, the timeout, West Genesee to settle their troops, but I'll tell you, that was a beautiful fast break situation. Had the point man turning the wrong way. They dished off to the goalie's right, and quick cross-crease pass before he could adjust. Presley quick stick to right in.
Incredible drama in action. 9-8 game, and we're going to take a look, Joe, at the entire sequence from beginning to end, and
offense
finishes up with a Bville goal.
The goal starts with the offense starts with the goaltender, and we're going to take a look at it when the ball comes into Brandt's stick. Doesn't go all the way to Brandt, but it's picked up by one of the defensive middies, and all the way down the end of the field he's coming. It's going to be coast to coast, and then he's going to just spot a man off to the Genesee's left, or excuse me, Genesee's right. There's a lunge by the the Wildcats. They dish back there. Now here's the pass right here. Cross crease. Nobody's there. Genesee can't make it humanly possible. He's too far out of the crease because he went out to cut the angle on the other side. Had he stayed home, and nobody can criticize him on that one because he didn't, he might have been able to just cross crease and beat Presley, but no way. That was a beautiful sequence.
Could you ask for a better game? Incredible action. 9-8 with 1:31 to go in the second overtime. And Joe, we talked about key face-offs. This pretty much is the season for West Genesee.
Oh, I should say, 1.5 minutes. There's a lot of time left. You know, I said that these overtimes go by quickly. For some people, they're interminably long, depending on where you are. But there's a big face-off right now.
Duffy wins it. Brown lost it for a moment, and he loses it permanently as Bville's got it. Brosting near midfield. It goes out of bounds, and Bville's got possession. With 1:19 to go and a big turnover as Brown could not handle a pass from Brian Duffy.
That's big right there. That's very big because they got the ball right now in a settled situation. They can run their offense. They can take a little time off the clock. But they also would, if they get an opportunity, they're going to pop it in too.
One more goal, and it would pretty much be lights out for West Genesee. Bville would have its first ever championship under Pete Fiorini in 13 years as the coach at Pelcher-Arcaro Stadium out there in Bville. Now in the clear, they'll take their time. McKeague and Brandt play and catch.
But they got to be very smart.
1 minute to go. Second overtime, Bville up by 1 goal, 9-8.
There he goes.
Bees in the offensive zone. Will they call timeout to check it over? They throw it away instead. A turnover, West Genesee. 48 seconds to go. And now the Wildcats look to clear it out and get one more shot to tie it and send us to a sudden death.
Somebody should be picking up the goaltender, or are they calling timeout? They're calling timeout. Pete Fiorini wants to get his ride set.
Defense. Ride defense. That's what Coach Pete Fiorini is going to talk about in his huddle. 9-8 game. We're back with a dramatic finish right after this. Tonight's official sponsor, Brine Lacrosse, exclusively bringing you tonight's exciting game between West Genesee and Bville. Brine Lacrosse, our official sponsor, and of course, the power behind the game.
Purpose of this timeout was to set the ride for Bville, but also the clear for West Jenny.
Wildcats now with 40 seconds, bringing out of their defensive zone. Smiley with on the far side. Heranoso out there. He's got the long stick. Fires into the offensive zone. Wildcats looking to tie it up. 30 seconds to go.
Give it to your captain to bring it across the field. Nice move.
Manning with it. Stevens with all those goals. Can he get a sixth tonight? Duffy. Stevens. Will he put a shot on? He can't get it off. It's loose in front. We're down to 17 seconds left. Still loose ball, and it's going to be picked up by Manning. My goodness. Down to the final seconds. Nearly broken up. We've got 9 seconds to go. Can West Jenny get a shot off? Only 5 seconds. Manning's going to have to streak in. 3 seconds. They get a shot off. It's not going to get to the goal, and Bville's going to win it. A 9-8 victory for the Bville Bees, and Pete Fiorini has his first ever sectional championship. Incredible action. Coach Pete Fiorini probably hasn't realized what's happened to him. We'll talk to him in a moment. 9-8 victory. Our Brine Incorporated player of the game will unquestionably be Jim Ganella. And a 9-8 triumph for Bville. They are sectional champ. It's celebration time for the folks from Belcher Taylor. Back after this. Cool 9-8 overtime win for Bville, and we're joined now by Joe Taylor of Brine, and you've got a very happy Jim Ganella here, the Brine Incorporated player of the game, and a nice trophy for him too, Joe.
Jim, congratulations on behalf of Brine, and good luck with the rest of the playoffs and keep it in upstate New York.
Thanks a lot, Mr.
Okay,
Taylor.
you betcha.
Okay, bring Joe out and bring Jim in. Congratulations on a great game, Jim. Tell us about the victory you were able to pull off here tonight. 5 goals for you. The emotions just got to be incredible to describe.
Yeah, West Jenny's a real good team. They played very well. It's just a big win for us. It's a big step in our program, and a real exciting game.
You're scoring 5 goals. You have a lot of offense. Is that what Coach Fiorini wants you to do? A lot of offense out there, kind of take control?
Yeah, tonight they put the long stick on me, but they weren't sliding off their men, so there wasn't really any open men to hit off the slides, but luckily I got some goals, and we won the game.
What does it mean to you personally to get this far? You're a junior, still another year to go, but Coach Fiorini and the team has never won a sectional championship, plus to beat West Jenny, the perennial champ.
I'm happy for Coach especially. He's worked really hard. He's always plugging away, and we finally won it for him.
How far can you guys take it, do you think?
I don't know how far, but I hope stays.
All right, time for you to do a little play-by-play for us, Jim. Take us through one of the goals in the first half you had.
Okay, this is off our man-up play called Cosmic. We swing it around. David looks for me, and the long stick on this side made a hard slide, and I kind of just brushed by him and put it high over Giannuzzi's stick.
How tough was he in goal tonight? I
He's
mean,
really
he made
tough.
a lot of big saves.
Yeah.
It was tough to get by him.
Yeah, he's a really good goalie, especially down low.
Was it your defense, too, that was a big part of the game? I mean, Dave Brand, the defensive guys with the long sticks.
They came up big. They've improved greatly over the season. I think that's a key to our season right now.
Okay, Jim, I'm trying to let you celebrate with the guys.
All right.
I know you have a smile on your face because it was a good time tonight.
Thanks a
Our
lot.
Brine Incorporated player of the game, Jim
Thanks a
Ganella,
lot.
thank you.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
we're back in a moment. We'll have more from the post-game show, including an interview with head coach Pete Fiorini, the winning coach, his first ever sectional championship, 9-8 final in overtime from Liverpool. Back right after these words.
hand the game ball for the winning coach, and coach, enjoy it, savor the flavor, but the next game's coming up in a few days. How do you feel?
How I feel great. The kids have worked very, very hard. We're very excited, obviously. We've got, we said at the beginning, or about midway through the year, we established 3 goals. And we've achieved 2 of them now. We share the OHSL title and the Section 3 championship, and we don't want to rest here, obviously. We want to get out and show some fight and class for our section.
Well, the section's been represented well in the past and continue to be by Bville, I'm sure. 2 heavyweights, as you said, hit it tonight, and they played a whale of a game, both of you.
I thought it was a great game. I think you look back on games, even initially, right after they're over, and try to look at some of the plays and try to look at how people reacted in different situations. I thought both teams just reacted with a lot of class, aggressiveness. They really, you know, there weren't any long momentum swings. I think you noticed people just they'd get one, we'd come right back, they'd fight back, and you know, it was just a great lacrosse game.
And a great game for Jimmy Gianella. We said highlight film for him. He was just playing phenomenal. The whole team played well.
Jimmy's played well all year long, and I think what he does is make everybody around him a little bit better. He looks up the field. I've always said this. He sees 2 passes ahead of everybody else, and he kind of showed that tonight.
Scary, he's a junior.
Yeah, we feel kind of fortunate that he is. He's a great player.
Let's talk about one of the sequences. In fact, the most exciting one, I think, was one that led to the game-winning goal. You went full field with the ball. You came up with it in the West Jenny end in your defensive zone, and then you just moved it right down the field.
Joey Joey Klein, our face-off, got a chance to show his speed a little bit, and he protected the stick well, got the ball off, as you can see, right at the right time. Timmy looking up the field, Timmy Hauk, and that was just a great feed from the left side of the cage as we're looking at it to Danny. Everybody was in position as they should be, and that's the way you draw them up, and you don't get a chance to show them too often, but they did in that one.
It was a picture-perfect goal for a picture-perfect win. I'm really happy for you, and I know the whole Central New York area feels well represented by the Bville Bees. Congratulations on a great win. Good luck at the rest of sectional play. We look forward to seeing Bville at the top.
Thank you very much. You people have always been great, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. When we come back, final thoughts and final statistics from this exciting overtime contest won by the Bville Bees. Stay with us.
After talking back at Liverpool, after talking to a very happy Bville head coach, Pete Fiorini, a 9-8 win in overtime. Joe, let's take a look at the stats.
Well, stats reflect pretty much what the game was, pretty much even, except a couple of them. West Genesee, Genesee made some great saves, and he had 17 compared to Brant's 10. Ground balls, West Jenny out-ground balled them a little bit. Maybe in the outcome didn't show. Other than that, top to bottom was pretty much even game, and I think the fact that you go into 2 overtimes like that is reflective of that fact. Pete Fiorini, when we talked to him at the end, he said, I just realized what the weather is. I'm starting to get chilly. So it was a great game, and as I said, the stats reflect that. It was a game well played by both teams. We pretty much said that the team with the ball at the end of the game was going to win it, and that's almost the way it ended up.
What can you say about Jim Ganella? Bryan Incorporated player of the game, 5 goals, but for Mike Stevens at West Genesee, number 33, put in 5 as well. It was kind of a personal mano-on-mano all night long.
Seems so. As we said, a game within a game. The 2 of them were just phenomenal, and the scary thing about Ganella is that he's a junior, and he got a whole another year from him, and Pete Fiorini says he's 2 moves ahead of everybody else. Can imagine what the kid's going to be like when he goes on to college. He's really great. The Bees probably are going to go on, and let's hope they go on for Central New York, and I think the Central New York's going to be well represented in state play.
Such a big win for Pete Fiorini, first ever Bville title in Section 3, but also we noted after the game, West Genesee, the perennial champion, the champions of champions in Central New York lacrosse, were very good about it. They were excellent sports despite losing such a tough game.
No, they're a class team. They are from coaching staff right down to the support staff who might be working with them and moving equipment around. They're just a class organization, phenomenal team to, if you're going to win a game and win the sectional crown, why not win it against the defensive champions? And that's exactly what Bville did.
Okay, put a wrap on it for my broadcast partner, Joe Angel. This is Dave Ryan for the entire New Channels crew from Liverpool. It's been a wet and wild one, but Bville takes the section championship, final score of 9-8 in overtime. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next time.